it's a lot of language nowadays has been sustainable communities. What does it mean to have a community that is sustainable? And one of the things we place a heavy emphasis on in our organization is social entrepreneurship. But social entrepreneurship takes on a lot of different definitions depending on who you talk to. Our main, I have to really emphasize that our focus on enterprise is profit is through people. You profit through the people you impact. You don't profit through dollars. So when we are initiating an enterprise, it is critical that our young people are involved every step of the way. Through their development, through their experience, we profit as a community. That's how you create longevity. That's how you create intergenerational relationships. So we spend a lot of time on the human side because that's where we feel social entrepreneurship and development / empowerment comes from.
So when I came to Campus Institute and showed my interest in it, the executive hired me as an intern to help me work with that, with many other things. Because I was working with computers at school, I started my own business as virus removal, as a virus removal service at a reasonable price for everybody. I also been requested to read certain books so I can present them to the rest of the classes as a certain project. I read books like The Alchemist, The Chaos Point, and Thinking in Systems. These books are from very famous authors and are very profound authors, and I enjoyed every single one of them.
He said when he came back, he asked me to research something that he had heard at the conference called aquaponics, and that's what I did over the summer for my internship. When school started back up, I presented it with the rest of the organization, and we decided it would be a good idea to start our own aquaponics system. And what aquaponics basically is, it's a way to grow fish and plants in a way so that they sustain each other. All the waste that the fish produce contains ammonia. The wastewater flows into a filter tank where the solid waste is filtered out. From there, the ammonia water decomposes into nitrites and after that nitrates. That nitrogen water flows into the plant tanks where the plants absorb that nutrient and use it as nutrients. So now that the water is clean, it flows into a pump tank where it's pumped back up to be used again by the fish.
My parents were raised mainly on the farm, but as they got older, they moved into a more cityfied way of life. My parents tried to instill in me the values and the expectations that come from living on the farm, even though I grew up in an inner city experience. Growing up, I was always fascinated with food. A lot of my growing food, just that whole process. A lot of my peers didn't know where their food came from. I remember walking to the corner store on 23rd and Dearborn, Mike's Corner Store, and we would get hot Cheetos and peach Fagos. I don't know if y'all know about peach Fago, but Grandma Chews and Fruities. We would scuff that down and then, a few hours later eat a few bowls of ramen noodles and not think anything of it. Not thinking about where that food came from, how it was processed, or how it would impact us later. And so it wasn't until around middle school that I really started seeing the impacts of the food that we were eating. I was seeing it through diseases, cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, and all the other metabolic disorders that run rampant in the black community in Indianapolis. I noticed that all of them, they stem from food. They all stem from the food that we ate. There were some deaths in my family and also some close family relatives that really hit home, and so I realized that nutrition is the way to combat those diseases. And so nutrition became very, very important to me. I'm a teacher at the KI Community School, and they provide me the space to create curriculum and pedagogy around these passions and build off those experiences that I've had. I also run a social enterprise called Kepler Compost, where we take food waste from local restaurants and through the composting process, turning it back into dirt. There's a bunch of different avenues for agro-business, but I wanted to focus on soil first because the neighborhoods that we live in and that we work in, they're covered in concrete. And if you have any green space, or if you have a yard or backyard, 9 times out of 10 is contaminated with lead or other urban pollutants. So what I wanted to do is literally create more land for people to connect to.
All of us there have our own individual businesses, and we made those businesses ourselves. We weren't assigned to them. We actually found out some of our talents that we were good at, and we picked our businesses. Some of the businesses that we have dog maintenance, we have people are selling brownies, pottery.
As an organization and a conversation that we encourage other people to have. As we all know, the financial challenges that the nation faces and how it impacts all of us individually, in our families and in our communities. One of the things that we've been talking about, what does economy really mean? Does economy mean an increase in the production of dollars or the production of trinkets? What does economy mean? And the conversation for us has really led down the path that economy simply means ways that bridge for people to exchange resources and barter. So if we begin to look at economy through that lens, then we do that every day. It could be you bringing your mother some flour to cook something for you, or you cutting your neighbor's grass. So I think one of the things that this nation has been very, very caught up on is the bridge for economy, which is money. A lot of times people focus on the collection of the bridge and not necessarily the idea of exchanging. And if we really think about exchanging, then we think about community. In order to exchange, you have to have relationships. So we really want to encourage people to have that conversation about what does economy really mean as the world is drastically changing.